Am I wrong for refusing to let my sister have my wedding dress? I, female 26, was supposed to get married to my fiance, 30 male, on August 17, but he passed away suddenly in a car accident a month before. It was so devastating and pain is pretty much raw for me. I moved back with my parents to get familiarity and support. My parents have been so helpful, but my twin sister and I aren't so close. She's engaged and getting married before the end of this year. She keeps ranting about her future in-laws expecting her to pay so much money for the venue and invite many guests. She said her fiance can't afford much, and last week, she and my mom asked if she could have my wedding dress to wear at her wedding. I was shocked by her request, but didn't react intensely. I just politely declined. Why would you want to wear your sister's wedding dress? I explained to them how this dress has personal attachment and value after they said that the wedding didn't happen anyway, and I didn't get to make memories in it, which was hard to hear. An argument ensued, and my sister called me selfish and unsupportive, and my mom sided with her and said I was wrong and that this dress will only stay hanging in the closet if I don't do something with it since my fiance isn't coming back, and I refuse to move on even though it hasn't been that long. Dad is on my side, but I started feeling like maybe I'm not being helpful seeing my sister struggling and needing help. Mom said this might make or break our relationship for the years to come, especially when I don't have many people around me after this loss. Am I the asshole for refusing to let her have it? By the way, the dress cost me $2,200 that I'd save up on my own. They claim I'm refusing because of its price and even went as far as to say that I must be planning on selling it or expect them to pay for it. Live within your means. Why are you having a wedding that you cannot afford? Go to Macy's, homegirl. Go to Shein. Go online. Go to Fashion Nova. Get a wedding dress you can afford. That is not her problem. I never understand people like this.
I'm full of regrets believing that my husband cheated on me when he didn't. Cheating is something that I've always had strong opinions about. I've been cheated on before and it sucked. Everyone knows that I don't forgive cheaters. So when my sister-in-law, my husband's sister, staged an elaborate scheme about my husband cheating, I ended the relationship. My relationship, unfortunately, wasn't the only one that was affected. My sister-in-law, Lisa, 32, her best friend, Emma, 32, and my husband, Jamie, 29, were best friends growing up. Emma got married when she was just 20. Her husband was abusive. She had 2 children with him. She got divorced 10 years later, and she was finally free from his abuse. She suffered a lot, however, and probably still is, in therapy, her and her children. I, 30, met Jamie 4 years ago. We got married 2 years later. Everything was just awesome. What I didn't know was that Emma wanted Jamie, and Lisa made it her mission when Emma finally got divorced to bring her brother and best friend together. I didn't know any of this, so I never knew there was a hidden agenda. When I, a few months into my marriage, overheard Lisa talking about how Jamie was cheating on me with a married colleague of his. In hindsight, I can tell it was staged because she was saying unnecessary details and was very loud. She meant for me to hear it. I confronted her then and there, and she played very flustered and apologized and begged me not to ruin my marriage. She told me Jamie loved me and she never wanted to lose me as a sister. But at the same time, she provided me with pictures and texts. They were all photoshopped of my husband and his colleague. She begged me not to mention where I found out, and I was grateful for her support and promised her not to expose her as the source. I confronted my husband with everything, and he adamantly refused to admit anything. It hurt me more that he never admitted nor apologized, ever. He asked me where I got this from, but I kept my promise and told him it was an anonymous tip. I also went so far that I contacted the colleague's husband. At the time, I thought it was the right thing to do. The colleague is this very beautiful woman that my husband worked very closely with many hours a day. I was a bit jealous of that, and I confided my fears with Lisa. She used it against me. I asked for a divorce, and the colleague's husband did too. After that, Lisa, who I thought was my friend, who called me her sister, disappeared from my life like I never existed. Even when I bumped into her, she was short with me and indifferent. Months went by, and I was still heartbroken, processing the separation. My husband stopped trying to make me see reason and agreed to divorce. He said he wanted to move on. I started having doubts. Why is Lisa doing this now? She was my friend and wanted the best for me, yet now shouldn't even answer my texts. I follow both her and Emma on Instagram, and I started seeing how Emma and my husband gradually started hanging out. At least once a week, Emma or Lisa shared stories about my husband with Emma and her children. What I did next is very questionable, and yet I don't regret it at all. I was desperate, and I needed the truth. I was still very good friends with Lisa's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Mike's sister. I told her my doubts and everything. I told her that Lisa was my source, that my husband was cheating, and that I'm starting to doubt everything everything and that I needed their help to unearth the truth. Mike was easier to persuade to help me than I expected. He had Lisa's passcode and he went through her messages with Emma, and there was everything. They have plotted everything. They used my idiocy and insecurity and made me throw the best thing that ever happened to me away. He sent me all the proof I needed, even the original photos they used to Photoshop my husband with his colleague. My world was turned upside down again, and I went into a deeper depression. I stayed in bed, called in sick for 2 weeks. I have not ruined only my life, but also another family. I don't know why I'm writing here, if I want advice or just to vent. I don't blame anyone but my stupidity for ruining my marriage. I should have trusted my husband and the love he's shown me. I should have been honest with him about everything and where I got the news that he was cheating from. I should have not gone to hurt the colleague and her family just because I thought her beautiful. She has since quit her job and moved, but I still had her husband's contact info. I had to at least apologize. We met and I told him everything. He was so angry with me. He was crying and yelling at me, and all I could think was that I deserved every insult he threw my way. I found the colleague on Instagram and DM'd her everything and a long apology. She didn't answer me. I don't know if I should tell my husband too. I know I don't deserve him at all, and I know that he doesn't want me anymore, but maybe he should just know what Emma is doing and what she's capable of doing. He deserves to know the truth. Maybe I could start with reassuring him that I'm not trying to win him back. I'm just trying to help him understand and apologize. I need to apologize for everything. I don't know.
To go to these lengths,
It's
really
psychotic.
to Photoshop. This person's bored, literally has nothing to do. How do you have this much time to focus on someone?
Am I the asshole for criticizing how my girlfriend takes job interviews? Me and my girlfriend are moving to another state, so she's job hunting right now. Her first interview, she had a call with a top company whose recruiter messaged her on LinkedIn. She spent a full hour grilling the company on its engineering practices and then withdrew her application. The next few calls with companies, she grilled them all and decided against moving forward with 4 of the 6. I said I think she's making a mistake, being picky, and she's gonna ruin her reputation. She said she wasn't making enemies, and if anything, it made her a hotter commodity. I still felt like it would hurt her reputation long term, but she said it wasn't a power play. Am I the asshole for criticizing how my girlfriend takes job interviews? The next interview I overheard started a big argument. Both her and the interviewer were laughing, and he was telling her a story about one of his coworkers. He said he fell off a barge into the river working on a project. She said, as funny as that is, that's honestly kind of messed up that they put y'all in danger, and I'm going to have to withdraw my application. She said to me, damn, people really tell on themselves if you just listen and smile. I said she did it a little prematurely and should have asked if they changed that. I asked if she was getting cold feet, and she said no, this is just how you interview at her level. I said that was BS and she's sabotaging herself.
I met a man at a 4th of July parade once, and he said, do you want to go jump off a bridge with me and my friends? And I said, I would love to, but I'm from out of town and I didn't bring a swimsuit. And he said, if that's genuinely your only holdup, we can probably find someone to lend you a swimsuit. So we found someone to lend me a swimsuit. It was the cutest swimsuit I've ever worn. I think about it every single day, and I really wanted to buy it off of the girl who lent it to me, but that felt like creepy and weird. So parade friend and I jumped off a bridge together. Then we got food, and then we wandered around downtown holding hands for no reason, and then we went and sat down by the river to wait for the fireworks to start. We're sitting in the grass, and he starts telling me his whole life story, and I wanted to be like, dude, you don't have to tell me a sob story, I'm already gonna hook up with you. But that seemed like a wildly inappropriate thing to say to somebody who had just told you that his dad left when he was really little and things had been really hard on him and his mom. So instead, I just told him something personal about me, and then the fireworks still hadn't started. We were like, what should we do until these fireworks start? Make out, I guess. But we weren't doing anything crazy because we were in public. We were trying to get arrested. Then this weirdo started tickling me. I was like, dude, no. I don't like being tickled in any situation, any context, especially not now. But he kept tickling me, and I said, dude, no. And then we heard a man behind us say no. We both slowly turned our heads, and we realized that the man behind us was speaking to his daughter. They'd laid out a blanket to watch the fireworks on. His daughter was wandering off the blanket. When he said no, his daughter turned around and went back on the blanket. I turned back to parade friend and I said, see, she knows what that word means. He said, that's different. That's a child. I'm a grown man. I said, no means the same thing to a child as it does a grown man. The only difference is children listen. He removed his whole body from me. He was like, I'm sorry, are you saying I don't listen to you? And we had our first fight and made up during the fireworks show. After we finished not watching the fireworks show, we hung out some more, ran some night errands, and then he took me to my friend's apartment where I was staying. He said, can I have your number? And I was like, dude, we both know you're not going to use my number. And he said, I'm trying to be a gentleman. I was like, well, the ship sailed on that, buddy. And he said, hit me up if you're ever in town again. And I said, I will not. And I never saw him again.